Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to do this rose. This is my 4-layer rose with 4 different size petals and the center, of course. So keep watching and feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. I have an Etsy account where I have all the templates available, so shoot me a message. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our petals. We've got 4 sizes of petals for this rose. We've got an 8, 7, 6, and 5-inch petal. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to curl our petals. So we will start with the corners and curl them around, and they will be curled the same direction on both sides. I use a glue stick for curling. I feel like it's easier. So now that we are done curling all 4 of our petals, we are going to glue them. Each petal has a division line in the bottom, and we will glue on the left side of that division line. But for each petal, we are going to glue differently. For the biggest petal, we're going to kick it over just a little bit. For the medium petal, we're going to go even more. For the second medium petal, even more, and the smallest petal all the way. This helps achieve a bloomed effect, so the flower kind of goes up as we get smaller towards the center. So for the biggest petal, we're going to glue just a little bit. The second one, we're going to go just a little bit more over that line. The third, we're going to go even more. And for the smallest petal, we're going to go a lot of the way over. So you can tell that the biggest and smallest petal come up at different arches. Next, we are going to start with a hexagon base. I use a hexagon because I like to have 6 petals per layer. We are going to start with our largest petals, and we are going to glue them around the hexagon. For the first petal, we're going to glue only halfway on the back side so that we can have an overlapping effect, and I'll show you how it looks when we get there. For the second petal, you can glue all the way across. For the last petal, what we're going to do is we're going to slide it up under that unglued side, and that's how it's going to achieve an overlap view. The last thing we're going to do to complete that is to glue that first petal's unglued side down. And there we have our first layer. We are going to repeat this with the 2 medium petals and the smallest petal. And we always go from largest petals first to the smallest one. We are on our last layer. You can either leave it at 3 layers or add additional layers. Typically I like to do 3 layers, but for this rose we are doing 4. And now we're going to do the inner petal layers. For the inner ones, they get really tough, so you really got to work with it and make sure your glue is stuck down before you move on to the next petal. Now that we are done with our 4 layers, we're going to put our rose aside and work on the center. For the center, you're going to have 4 pieces that look like bones. For this, I have 10-inch diameter on these. I've already pre-done one of them with it curled and glued together to make a crossbone. So we're going to do that to these. For curling, you can do 2 or more petals at the same time and curl them. So that's what I'm going to do. After we curl them, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to glue them together in a crossbone shape with the curls all facing the same way, just like that. So now we have 2 crossbone pieces. To start making the center, we are going to curl one part on the left. You can make this as tight as you want or as loose as you want, somewhere in between. And what you'll do is you'll put glue on the sides of this petal and you're going to wrap it around and give it a nice hug, and it'll glue just like that. That didn't stick, so I'm going to put a little bit more glue on this side. If you have those little gluey flyaways, I suggest getting one of these. It's just a sticky roller, like for your clothes. After you have these glued down, you gotta hold it for a little while. After you have those glued down, we're gonna work on the sides. And you're gonna hug it, but you're not gonna hug it so tight. You're gonna gently loosen up as you add those layers. Now that we're done with this section, we're going to add on the second section. Since we overlapped these ones last, we are going to turn it so that we don't do 2 of the same layer. We're going to add a cross layer here. Same thing that we're going to do with all sides, except instead of wrapping it tight, again, loosen up with each petal that you add. Now that we are done with our center, we're going to add it to our rose. So we're going to bring our rose over. And you just want to kind of play with the placement. Sometimes turning it one way looks better. But what you'll do is you will glue the very edges of this base and you will just add it right in the middle. And that is our rose. Thanks for watching. The petals and the templates for the rose are available on Etsy.